Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Overwatchathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in, Overwatch. I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their design and cosmetics. Like, comment and subscribe if you feel so inclined, or if you enjoy the rest of the video. And with all of that preamble said, our object of obsession for today is the first ever Martian, that being Juno. Now, as I like to do in all of these videos thus far, I'd like to start off by talking about Juno's story, her lore, her background, whatever funky word you wish to use. And her story begins with her birth, which, I know, no shit, but you get the idea. Either way, she was born on Mars during Project Red Promise, Liu Cheng's interstellar secret multi-stage initiative to terraform the planet of Mars. The daughter of scientists Jiayi Teo and Kiem Van Min, she was the first human to ever be born on Mars. As I mentioned, the first ever Martian. She embodied the hopes of the project, and each member of the Red Promise team loved her as if she was their own. Juno's name was chosen by her mother, who was fluent in Mandarin. The Chinese characters Juno loosely translated as Vermilion Promise in English, as her parents saw her as the embodiment of the project. Now, before I move on with her story, I do want to just quickly mention, Juno was born with purple hair, which by all definition, genetically, biologically, scientifically, is impossible. Our bodies do not produce the, colored genome thingy-majigs to, produce purple hair. We cannot be born with purple hair. I think the most extreme colors are white, maybe? I don't actually know what the most rare color of hair is, but purple is scientifically impossible. So how she was born with that, I haven't a clue. But I'll probably talk about that more when we get to her design eventually. But anyways, coming back to her story. Though the scientists were busy with their duties on the base, they made every effort to keep Juno entertained and happy through her childhood. While growing up, Juno heard many a story of her mother's life on Earth, including those of an old friend, a climatologist named Mei Ling Zhou, which is, of course, the playable character, Mei. Juno wasn't exposed to much media growing up, but her father had brought a number of westerns with him to Mars, and she watched them herself, per what we know from an interaction between herself and Ash. Despite the joys that could be found inside of the base, Juno was more interested in what lay beyond it. It seemed that scientists' curiosities had kind of rubbed off on her, and she constantly begged them to join on expeditions outside of the base. On at least one occasion, she used a pre-existing spacesuit to exit the base, much to the chagrin of those around her. When she was finally old enough, the Red Promise team pitched in to make her own spacesuit. It was modified from a pre-existing Liu Cheng spacesuit and was gifted to Juno by her mother, so she could safely brave the Martian atmosphere. Juno was free to roam the outdoors, and she sought more than just enjoyment. She wanted to help. While Juno didn't have the scientific background that most of the other team had, her family encouraged her to contribute in her own way, and over time she grew from a starry-eyed child into the most proficient navigator in the colony, a true member of the Red Promise team. However, due to the terraforming project initiated by the Red Promise mission, it kicked up a lot of debris into the atmosphere, causing massive dust storms to start threatening the colony's safety. Within a few years, the colony might not be habitable anymore. At first, Juno was unfazed by this knowledge. She was even caught up in one of the dust storms before she used her suit to breach the dust cover, braving the Martian winds and lightning. While each storm was more violent than the last, Juno believed that the Red Promise team could overcome anything. Said confidence was ill-founded, however, as all of Red Promise's attempts to contact Liu Cheng Interstellar went unanswered. And the promised second promise, that's a real tongue twister. The promised second Red Promise wave never materialized. Not knowing when or if assistance might arrive from Earth, the Red Promise team concluded that their days were numbered. The team tried to shield Juno from the severity of the situation, but she could tell that they were working on borrowed time. After enough discussion and compiling their limited resources and realizing that they only had enough power to send one person back, the Red Promise scientists knew that they had to send back Juno, the only one who had never been signed onto their mission. They wanted her to have a chance at life. Months after they'd realized the severity of their situation, Juno was brought to the Red Promise docking bay when she was presented a ship of her own. They tried to shield her from the true nature of the situation, saying it was time for Juno to chart her own course, but she quickly realized that her parents wanted her to leave Mars, even if it cost them their own lives. She pleaded with her parents not to make her leave, but they continued to remain steadfast in their desire. After all, she embodied their hope for the future of humanity, and they would not let her share their same fate. Juno ran away from the bay in tears. Mars was the only world she had ever known, the Red Promise team the only family. But in that moment, she recalled what her parents had taught her, that the most frightening challenges were the ones most worth overcoming. She relented. She downloaded the Red Promise's climate data and agreed to leave. However, she didn't see her departure from Mars as an evacuation, but instead made it her mission to find help on Earth, refusing to give up on the one home and family she'd ever known. Even though she would be sent to Earth with no expectation of ever coming back, Juno was determined to seek help on Earth and find answers that could save her parents and everyone else at the Red Promise colony. After a set of solemn goodbyes, Juno tearfully left the danger of her home planet, knowing there was a chance that she would never see her family again. She promised herself she'd find someone who could help save everyone before it was too late. Juno was sent off by the whole Red Promise team, and she told them that she'd see them again. She could tell they didn't believe her, but that didn't matter. Her parents had come to Mars with a dream of expanding the reach of humanity, and now it was Juno's dream to save her home. And thus, she launched her ship, along with the climate data and a picture of her mother and Mei Ling Zhou. Juno's ship broke atmosphere without incident, but she held off on firing the primary boosters. And per, obviously, her cinematic that she got before her release, we get to see her kind of struggle with... I won't completely detail it, like, bit by bit. No offense, but her cinematic isn't particularly the most interesting thing in the world, and nothing really happens. All that happens is that she struggles, obviously, to initiate her boosters to send her off to, Earth. But during the launch process, a rock seems to have gotten lodged into the boosters. She attempts to kick it, and then gets frustrated, shoots it, gets boosted back, and in trying to calm herself down from the panic, she has some nice words given to her by her mother, and eventually manages to get back in the ship, fix up the boosters, and launch herself off to Earth. And from this point forward, we kind of just get, like, what she did. Like, from this point forward, it's kind of just what we got from teasers. Because, here's a fun fact, and I'm going to admit I'm very fond of this, Juno's build-up to her release was surprisingly solid. For those that didn't play around the time that she was coming out, we saw a comet flying across the sky randomly on certain maps, specifically Dorado, and not too long after that, a pod actually managed to crash land on Dorado, which of course was Juno's. And from that point forward, she was, if I remember rightly, she was contacted by Athena when she entered in Earth's kind of atmosphere, and she was told that Overwatch members would be there to meet her when she crash landed in Dorado, and as such, she was met by Overwatch members. And now this is where we get into kind of one of my issues. I'm sure you noticed the video title. Like, story-wise, Juno is very interesting to me. Like, that is basically the grand bit of her story. Like, she was sent to, or she was born on Mars, which is an interesting aspect just to begin with. Like, the idea that humanity at this point has colonized Mars. It's not completely out of the question, of course. We know from development logs, they said, like, oh, if humanity, colonized the moon, which of course we know from Winston and Hammond's law, who's to say they didn't colonize Mars? Which, yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's interesting to have a character who, by all definitions, is an alien, technically. By definition, she is a Martian. She's not like, what is the word that she calls people from Earth? Terrans? I think that's what she calls them. Like, by all accounts, she is technically an alien with enormous quotes and a giant asterisk next to that. And that's interesting. And I think her story on Mars is also quite interesting. The idea of not being like, growing up on Mars, having this completely different environment around you, and then being sent off to save what remains of the colony is an interesting story. However, now this is the big however, and I'm sure you noticed the video title and the thumbnail. This interesting story is immensely held back by Overwatch's structure. And what I mean by that, and I'm sure some of you may wonder what I mean by that, It's the game that Overwatch is. Overwatch, of course, is a, 5v5, sometimes 6v6 hero shooter without any sort of story mode, even though, of course, they did attempt to make one a while back. So, like, it doesn't have a story mode, right? So, someone like Juno, who has this very, like, self-centered story, this story that is very personal to herself, is unable to expand upon it. Like, this story, unless they prove me wrong soon, I know they've been ramping up lore and cinematic stuff behind the scenes, I know they have. Unless they prove me wrong, Juno's story will never get a conclusion in any way, shape, or form. It will just be this forever contingent cliffhanger that never gets resolved, and that kind of hurts the story. Because it's nice and all that, of course, she's, on Earth, she's here to save her family and the people on the Red Promise colony, and that's all cool, and I really like that. And in any other game, like a story game, that would be her story arc, her seeking help, getting this and that, and then going back to the Red Colony and saving people. But that's never going to happen, because this is Overwatch. This is a, online multiplayer game. This is not, Juno's story is not going to actually be developed further upon, and if anything, it's kind of already been forgotten. Per a lot of her interactions, like I'm sure I this kind of like, there's a bad tangent, but like personality wise, Juno is very how would you put it? Naive, ditzy. I don't know how else to put it. Like, she's very like childish as well. Like, obviously this comes from the fact that this is her first time on Earth and she's experiencing all of these new things, like different cultures, different foods, different environments. She's very unaccustomed to the world of, well, Earth, anything to do with Earth customs, all of that sort of stuff. And her personality also kind of holds back her story, because a lot of the time it is just kind of ditzy, like, oh my god, what is this thing? Oh my god, what is wrong with you? Why do you look like that? Like, she calls Ramatra a rover, and she starts like panicking over Widowmaker being blue, and then says, I will call a medic. Oh wait, I'm a medic. Like, that's funny. Initially, when she came out, I did actually quite like her personality. But as time has gone on, and obviously now I've actually like read her lore and, watched the cinematics back and read the comic properly, I actually don't. I don't like her personality like when it comes to merging the two, like her personality and her story. Her personality holds back her story, because if her only thing, and obviously she's been out for a bit now, she's been out since season 12, almost a year-ish, and we've had enough time for her to get new interactions and all of that lovely stuff. And they've consistently proven that they're not actually going to acknowledge her story. Like, I think the only interactions where she acknowledges her story of, saving the people on Mars that are dying is with May, which of course she refers to as her auntie. I actually did think she was her auntie. No, that's actually an Asian thing where you refer to like middle-aged women as auntie as a sign of respect. I didn't know that. I think that's kind of cool. But like, outside of those few interactions with like May and some other characters, she never actually says, oh yeah, by the way, everyone on this Mars colony is gonna die and I need to save them like ASAP. And she doesn't really talk about that. Oh, most of her interactions are just like, oh my god, wow, this weird Earth thing that I don't recognize. And it's just like, that's fine, but after a while that gets really, really damn boring. Like, it gets really damn boring. And it's not a personality that I'm not like head over heels for. It's funny for a few moments, and I will admit I do have quite a like for her voice actress, which is, I don't know how to say her name. It's the woman that plays Haru in Persona 5. Like, I recognized the voice immediately. I was like, oh my god, that's Haru from P5, and I had a big smile on my face. But like, she delivers the lines well, and she does sell the kind of like naivety that Juno has. But come on, her story is interesting. And the reason she's here is to save the planet, or save Mars and the colony, but that's not going to be developed upon, because of how Overwatch is. So unless, I don't know, we get like a story arc all about saving the Mars colony, which I doubt, because they even say, like, she's landed here in the middle of Null Sector's global war, which, again, she was released in a time where they haven't really done much with the story yet, and thank God they're beginning to ramp it up again. We know we're going somewhere with the Null Sector stuff and Ramatra and his big global war. But it's like Juno's landed here in the middle of that war, And now, as a such, she isn't able to develop her personal story, which of course her entire backstory revolves around, and instead is just here as another member of Overwatch to fight Null Sector. It's just really boring. I mean, at least unlike some other Overwatch 2 editions, she does actually have, interesting links to the main cast, and she now actually is a part of Overwatch. Someone like, again, last video I talked about Irari, and how her lore has no connection to Overwatch in any way, shape, or form. She doesn't even formally become a member of it in any way referenced, but Juno does, because she lands there, is picked up by Overwatch agents. They reference the fact that they're in a global war against Null Sector. It's like, Juno is now actually part of Overwatch. I think that's interesting. Like, she actually is, by definition, a part of them. That's good. That's good storytelling. You're actually involving her in the group that is Overwatch. But that then takes away from her personal story, and that personal story may never get developed because of how Overwatch works as a game. It is a multiplayer, online, live service game that doesn't have the time to dedicate, like, story arcs to, specific characters. But knowing their favoritism towards Juno, I actually would not put it past them that at some point we do get a focus on her. I do think her story is interesting enough to, deserve a focus. But, what are we in the middle of right now? Oh yeah, the Null Sector War, which I find infinitely more interesting because, who's at the front of the Null Sector War? Remind me again? Oh, my favorite character in the game? Ramatra? And one of my other favorite characters in the game? Zenyatta? Right now? Okay, Zenyatta's only front-facing right now because of the recent comic. But, still, you get the idea. And you understand what I'm trying to say about Juno. Her story is interesting. I do like it. But her personality being, ditzy, oh my god, wow, what's this weird Earth thing? I don't recognize this. And the fact that Overwatch is the game it is, holds back that interesting story from going anywhere. This story will never have a conclusion. And that frustrates me quite a lot. It's like a polar opposite thing to Irari, where Irari's story just didn't have it concluded, but it didn't really have anywhere to go from there. Whereas Juno's exists, but it doesn't have a conclusion. And it will never get a conclusion. It's very annoying. And again, with her personality, I'm very 50-50 on it. I thought it was quite funny. I thought like a cute, ditzy personality was quite funny to begin with. But I don't know. It just like they keep stringing the ditziness along, and it's just like kind of boring now. I don't really like it. Like I understand it. She's like 18 and she's, a Martian and she doesn't understand Earth's environment and da-da-da-da. But I don't know. If every single one of her interactions is just, oh wow, what's this Earth thing? I'm going to get real damn bored if she continues to be like this for the next, how long has she been in the game? Season 12? We're in season 19 now. So she's been in the game for 7 seasons and she's still doing this. It's just kind of boring. But anyways, with all of my qualms and issues and praise done and dusted, I would like to now move on to talking about her gameplay and abilities. Please do keep in mind for this segment I use OBS to record my gameplay and audio simultaneously, so if I sound slightly different I do apologise in advance. But with that said, let us now move on to talking about her gameplay and her abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever so lovely and ever so helpful training range to talk about Juno's gameplay. Now, just to lay out the groundworks before we actually go into her kit bit by bit, Juno is not very good right now, I'm going to be completely honest. There's a couple of reasons for that and I'll discuss them as we go along, but Juno as a character is not very good right now, but kit-wise and design-wise, she is a support that focuses on verticality. I had to say that word slowly because I struggle to say it, and I sometimes just go verticality because I'm British. Either way, before we talk about anything here, let's talk about the passive, known as Martian Overboots. Whilst airborne, you can press space to double jump, and you can hold space to hover. The slow full speed is 3 meters per second. Relatively self-explanatory. You can press the spacebar twice to do a little double jump, and if you are in the air, you can hold the spacebar to slowly glide down. Very akin to, like Echo, who also can, slowly glide downwards. Or Mercy, who does the exact same thing. Is there anyone else with a double jump? Genji. Actually, this game is a weird pattern of giving Asians double jumps. Funny enough, like, if we just take a look at the cast, right? Genji has a double jump. Hanzo technically has a double jump. Kiriko doesn't have a double jump, but she can climb walls, which Genji and Hanzo can both do. Juno can double jump. Lifeweaver kinda can. I don't know if you want to count the dash as a double jump. And Symmetra can't. I don't know if there's any... Oh, Diva also cannot double jump. Okay, so like 80% of the Asians in the game can double jump or wall climb. Don't know what they're trying to say. Do Asian people have a secret double jumping skill that I don't have access to as a white guy? Let me know. If you Asian, let me know if you can double jump. But anyways, this is, as I said, Juno is a character that focuses a lot on verticality. And as a result, this is, you know, clear sign of it. It allows you to, you know, it's extra movement. You have extra movement. It does make you quite susceptible, I must mind. Because when you double jump, you do get that little hang time at your peak point before falling, which can make you susceptible to like characters like Ash and Cassidy. Cassidy. I just say Cass. That's you know who I'm on about. Cassidy, Soldier 76 makes you vulnerable to hit scan characters because of that kind of bit at the top where you pause for a moment, leaves you susceptible being shot. But otherwise, you know, it's just good movement tool. Allows you to get up to high places, allows you to kind of move around a little bit unpredictably. Because you can either, ooh, are they going to jump? Are they going to double jump? Are they going to slow fall down? Like, it just kind of makes you a little bit harder to hit and does obviously combine quite nicely with the rest of her kit. And speaking of the rest of her kit, the Meta Blaster, which is a 180 magazine. I never even realized. That's a huge ass magazine. Either way, this is a how many round burst? 12 round burst. Is it a pistol? Pistol SMG thingy? I don't really know what this thing actually is. It's called the Meta Blaster. Either way, it is a burst fire weapon that heals allies and damages enemies, not too dissimilar to, say, you know, Ana. It does 72 healing at base, but very interestingly, and unlike any other support in the game, Juno has healing and damage fall off. This is one of the reasons that I said she was not very good. The fact that she has healing fall off really hurts. Like, it really, really hurts. Juno, for the most part, could, if she didn't have, you know, healing fall off, she would be able to be played from a distance and excel quite nicely at that distance. But because she does have to get up close and personal for the most. I say up close and personal, you get the idea. You have to play in that mid-range point, and she can get, you know, she can get clocked. She really gets hurt by both hit scan and dive characters. She's quite squishy as well. 225 isn't like, you know, super high, and most of her health is shield, which is fine. You know, shield regenerates after a bit, but she's quite susceptible to dives and hit scans because of, you know, as I said, she kind of hang times in the air when she does the double jump, and for the most part is usually flying around, which makes you more susceptible to hit scan. But the fact that she has healing fall off really hurts. She does 72 at base and 21 at the max fall off, and the min-max fall off distance is 25 to 35 meters, which is not great. Like, just as a point of reference, if we come over to the you know, like the range thingy here. So like, if you're at this distance, you're doing as low damage as possible. So for example, the damage that you deal with the gun is 90 at base and 27 at the max fall off. And this is the max fall off. This isn't great. You can see the huge difference just from me moving from like 20 to 30 meters. Like, that doesn't seem too bad, but Juno, as I said, can benefit a lot from playing at these like further distances, and it just hurts. It just hurts her. Like, if she's running after her team, like say they do a push and she kind of like runs after them, I don't know, just like having that heal fall off hurts. It just does. You won't notice it until you do. Like, it's the drop off as well. Like 72 healing to 21. You're losing 50 healing just because you're, I don't know, 30 meters away or 35 meters away. Like, that hurts. It really does. Otherwise, her healing is fine. It's just interesting that she has to suffer from, you know, healing fall off, whereas characters like, you know, Ana, someone who has a, you know, damn near identical weapon to her, doesn't. She doesn't suffer from fall off. Ana doesn't have fall off at all, but Juno does. I mean, just as a quick point of reference, I feel like it's worth showing. If we go to Ana and then we check her kit, like, Ana does 75 healing and 75 damage over time from any distance. Whereas Juno has to be within a certain range to do 72 healing and has the fall off make it drop down to 20. I know her damage looks better, 90 at base, but again, that falls off to 27. It's just like, why does she have to deal with fall off? But Anna, someone whose kit is infinitely better, mind you, all of this is just better. And now, by the way, Anna doesn't have to deal with fall off, and they gave her a perk that allows her to crit, and this crit multiplier is 2 times, so that's 150 damage, or 150 damage from that distance. Like, what? It's just, Anna's kit is infinitely better than Juno's, just on a baseline, because of all the utility she has, and yet Juno's out here dealing with, fall off. It's just very interesting why they decided that. But otherwise, Juno's damage is very respectable at, the close distance. I mean, it's a 3 burst to kill. I think these bots have 250 health, if I'm not mistaken. But, like, just as a point of reference again, Tracer, 175, it's a 2 burst. Not bad, right? From a close-up distance. But then, as well, her healing is relatively respectable as well. Like, if you just hit all of your shots, the healing's pretty good. It's nothing, like, it's not insane, but it's pretty good. But then again, I've already mentioned it many a times, she can suffer, of course, with, her fall-off. Which, this doesn't look too bad. But when you consider how much damage people can take and what other supports they might be bringing and blah, 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 you'll notice it. You'll notice it eventually. That fall off will hit you and you will hate it with all of your heart. But otherwise, the gun is pretty good. It's hit scan, which is always a lovely thing to see. Hit scan weapons are always great. And, her healing is quite decent from the ranges in which she's most useful. Her damage is also pretty solid, all things considered. Consider was not a word. And yeah, I mean, her healing and damage is good. It's just, why does she deal with fall off? Like, I'm not kidding. If they got rid of the fall off and then dropped her damage down like to 70, maybe 65 or something, I don't know if what they scared for. Why does she have fall off? Like, I don't understand. If someone can explain it to me, I'd be lovely. I don't know. Blizzard employee that might be watching this video, explain to me why Juno has fall off, because I don't understand it personally. But otherwise, her healing is good, her damage is good. It's just obviously she sucks from longer ranges, and on the bright side, her weapon has these cute little faces that pop up when you aim at enemies. Like the enemy have angry red face and allies have smiley green face. Green, blue, turquoise, whatever color that is. Either way, her gun is pretty decent, but of course the fall off stuff is just really weird. Don't know why she has it. And moving on from it, let's talk about the pulsar torpedoes. You can press the right click button to lock onto enemies and allies, and then you can fire homing projectiles. It heals allies over time and damages enemies flat. It does on-hit healing of 85 and a total of extra 50 healing over time, bringing its total healing amount to 135. The healing over time duration is 2.5 seconds, so it takes 2.5 seconds to do the extra 50 healing, and the on-hit damage is 85. It has a lock-on range of 40 meters, which is, pardon me, pretty decent, and it has a max duration of 4 seconds. To show what this looks like, of course, you press the right click, your torpedoes will appear on the side of your screen, and if you aim at enemies or allies and then click the fire button, it will shoot the torpedoes their way. It can lock on to enemies and allies simultaneously, and this is what I mean by Juno prefers to be at the back of a team, or like further back, because then her torpedoes are able to lock on to as many people as possible, allies and enemies included. And just to show, of course, what it looks like when locking onto allies, you lock onto allies and enemies, and then bang, you heal them, and you get their little extra healing over time. This is a kind of burst healing in a sense. Every character kind of has a burst healing somewhere or other, in some way, shape, or form, whether that be ultimate, ability, etc. And this is Juno's. Her Meta Blaster is obviously good for consistent, constant healing, but say the team kind of all drops to that midpoint, you don't want to use it when they're critical, because usually if they are critical, they are still taking damage, and you do want to, heal them immediately. And your Meta Blaster is better for that, because obviously, as I said, there's the lock-on duration. Like, how long does it take to lock on? It's like about a second, maybe 0.75 seconds. So, like, it does take a moment to lock on to enemies and allies. So if your team is, like they're all on critical, do not use the torpedoes. I know it looks like a good play because, you'll be able to heal everyone. But by the time they've locked on, and remember, these do have to travel, and they only do the 85 healing immediately. They have to wait for the 150. You're just better off just shooting people and healing them that way if they are, all kind of low. Because it would just be more consistent. Maybe that's just my experience. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's how I've kind of gotten the hang of Juno in a sense. But the torpedoes are good. Do not get me wrong. The torpedoes are very good. They're probably her best ability. Maybe it's debatable, really. They do good burst healing, as I said. They do decent damage, and they obviously have the benefit of being able to target allies and enemies simultaneously. So you can do healing and damage simultaneously, which is, always a nice thing to have. And yeah, they're a very easy ability to use. But as I said, they promote you to play as far back with the team as possible. So, say for example, in this scenario, wow, there's 3 allies in front of me and 2 enemies in front of me as well. If I were playing alongside them to, get to ignore, the fall off distance on her Meta Blaster, then I can't really, I have to pick and choose if I'm, up close and with the rest of the team. But if I'm, say, back here, I can hit the enemies, I can hit the allies. Win-win. But you then have to consider damage fall off and healing fall off. Why does she have healing fall off? I don't get it. If you're worried about the damage, keep the damage fall off. Don't keep the healing fall off. I don't understand it. It's just so weird. Why does she have it? Either way, the torpedoes do promote you to play a bit further back so you can obviously hit everyone. It usually results in you not hitting the other support that's on your team, depending on who it is, of course. If it's like Brig or something, who is someone that pairs quite nicely with Juno, then yeah, you are going to hit her with the torpedoes. But say it's like, I don't know, Anna, or yeah, say it's like Anna. Anna kind of plays at the similar distances to Juno, which is, a bit further back. So you may not hit them with the torpedoes. You may actually have to shoot them. But you get the idea. Good burst healing, does some okay damage. It's kind of just helpful. You'll usually get a lot of final blows with it by accident sometimes. You'll just lock onto an enemy that goes around a corner who's on really low health and the torpedo will just kill him. It's kind of satisfying. But anyways, moving forward, we have her glide boost, where you glide horizontally with increased movement speed. You get an extra 50% move speed, it lasts for 4 seconds, and you get 50% knockback resistance during it. It's worth noting, however, you do lose your momentum. Well, okay, hold on. Correct myself. If I remember rightly, they added something to a patch either this season or last season, where it made it so that Juno kind of like halted her momentum when initiating her glide boost. So just to show what glide boost looks like, just if say you're on the ground, you press shift, you get a little boost forward, and then, you move around, you get extra speed, blah, blah, blah. Neat. It's a pretty decent decent boost in movement speed, and more importantly, when you're in the air, it keeps you stable whatever distance you're in, allowing you to kind of fly, in a sense. It's kind of like Echo's flight, but less freeform, because obviously Echo flies in the direction she is moving and will go wherever she decides to go, whereas Juno, when initiating the dash, is stuck to, like, what's the axis? It's not the y-axis, the x-axis? Or is it? Yeah, I think it's the x-axis. So she can't, move up and down. She is stuck horizontally. And this is fine. It's decent movement speed, just decent... the knockback resistance I didn't know about. It's actually quite useful. And it does, of course, as I said earlier, make you quite susceptible to hit scans, because now you are stuck on one axis. So you literally just become a floating target for soldiers, Ashes, Cassidys, etc. But as you'll notice, if I double jump and then boost, I kind of lose the momentum of the double jump, which is kind of odd. I might be getting this wrong, but there was a thing I swore where, like, I swore I saw something where it was like, Juno mains complaining that she now had like her momentum halted after the double jump if you activate glide boost. I don't know if that's still a thing. I can't really feel it personally, but maybe I just don't play Juno enough. I mean, I do play quite a decent bit, right? I mean, I don't want to like expose myself, but if we pull up my career profile, where is she on the hero? Yeah, look, she's on quite high on the hero level listing. But then again, that's because, I was really fond of her when she came out in the hero trial and I just played her a bunch. Like, it's not like I don't play Juno. I know what I'm doing, but still, I don't know if I'm tripping, but I can't really like feel the. Maybe I can. No, I can. Yeah, I can definitely feel it. Either way, I don't know what it is specifically. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, but she seems to like lose the momentum of the double jump when you activate glide boost midair, and that really does feel like, it does feel weird. It feels kind of uncomfortable to use, and as a result, she feels clunky, and yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, glide boost is fine. You know, it's extra movement speed. I've got nothing, no complaints here. You do get stuck in the horizontal axis, which of course makes you susceptible to hit scans, which you do have to be aware of. So a lot of the time I usually find myself, you know, like boosting forward, you know, shooting people a little bit, and then dropping, like intentionally ending it early to obviously avoid hit scans. But yeah, it's a fine enough ability, but it does have that weird kink of kind of being a bit clunky to use off of her double jump, where it feels like you just kind of lose your momentum for some reason. But anyways, continuing to move forward, we have what is also arguably her best ability. It's between torpedoes and her hyper ring. Or between torpedoes and her hyper ring. Whoa, I accidentally said the name before I was meant to. You deploy a ring that increases movement speed of allies that pass through it. It gives an extra 50% move speed. The bonus move speed duration is 3 seconds, and the ring lasts for 6 seconds. And it has a range of 17.5 meters. Now, if you pardon me, I need to sneeze. Bless me. This is the second ability in the game that increases movement speed in some way, shape, or form. The other, of course, belonging to my ever-beloved Lucio, who refuses to load for some reason. Sorry, 1 second, I need to sort myself out. Right, I have absolutely no idea what happened there. I sneezed once and suddenly needed to sneeze 3 more times in a row, and then suddenly got a set of coughs that followed up afterwards. So if I sound a little bunged up all of a sudden, that's probably why. Either way, the Hyper Ring. This is the second ability in the game that increases movement speed in some way, shape, or form, outside of perks, ignoring that sort of stuff, and ignoring any personal... Is there anyone else that boosts their movement speed? Like, ignoring, like, I don't know, Ramatra getting extra move speed during Nemesis. Or anyone else that increases their move speed, just, like, passively, in a sense? I mean, I guess you could count Soldier Sprint, but not really. Either way, these two are the only ones with actual speed boosts, which increase base movement speeds. Lucio, of course, being the most notable one. He's been here since the beginning and has always had that as his key trait. That was his, like, selling point. The reason why he's still consistently so good. But Juno having it is, you know, a neat thing. However, hers is inherently weaker due to the fact that this is a cooldown related ability. It goes on it has a 14-second cooldown, which is quite long. And just to show, of course, what it looks like, you press E and you deploy the ring. Fun fact, when you deploy the ring, you get the move speed bonus immediately as Juno without even needing to pass through said ring. But of course, it does what it says on the tin, really. You just deploy the ring, go through it, and you get, you know, the extra move speed. Neat. Obviously beneficial for the entire team, and will benefit anyone that benefits from speed boost anyways. And that's kind of inherently the problem with the ability. This is a ability that is on a 14-second cooldown that, you know, you have to wait for. I know it, obviously, the cooldown starts immediately once you launch it, so really it's only on a 6-second cooldown, because of course the ring lasts for 7-second cooldown, really. You get the idea. It lasts for 6 seconds, so technically it's only on a 7-second cooldown, which isn't, you know, terrible. That's actually pretty good, all things considered, but it's still on a cooldown. And the move speed it gives, I believe, is lower than Lucio's, I think. Where's his thingy? How do I see what his... okay, Lucio's is 25%, right? But Lucio's is consistent. It's always up. Well, as long as he has speed boost up, of course. Whereas Juno's is, you know, on a hypothetical 7-second cooldown, but it's 50%. But the thing is, Lucio can bump the speed boost higher than hers through Amp It Up, which obviously grants 60% extra move speed bonus on a 12-second cooldown. So the discussion of who's better for the speed boost, Lucio or Juno, it's always going to be Lucio, because his is consistently up all the damn time, and it's always going to be beneficial for anyone that might need it. Some key players, of course, that benefit from speed boosts are, of course, Brigitte. Brigitte is probably the best, or one of the biggest examples of, like... Okay, Brigitte doesn't need the speed boost to exist, but she is twice the character she is with a speed boost. I mean, think, back to when she was the most strongest character in the game, during GOATS meta, Lucio was always in that team, because he amplifies her strength tenfold. When Juno first came out, and, you know, she was actually really strong in her hero trial, Brig and Juno was a very potent, like, combo, because the 50% extra move speed was really good on Brig. But of course now Juno's healing has kind of fallen off a little bit, and I don't know, I feel like it was kind of like a recency bias, at least in my experience. Like, it was a strong combo, it still kind of is, right? Juno Brig is not a, you know, terrible team comp that you should never run, but Lucio Brig is a better team comp, because Lucio is a better support. He generally will do better, which kind of hurts. Like, if you're looking for speed boost and all you want is the speed boost, Lucio's going to do it better. Juno isn't bad by any means. Like, of course, the speed boost benefits anyone that would benefit from the speed boost. Reinhardt benefits from speed boost. Actually, 90% of the tanks benefit from the speed boost. Any divers benefit from speed boost. Most characters benefit from the speed boost. But Lucio just kind of does it better, at least in my experience. Not to say the Hyper Ring is bad. It's still good, but Lucio just kind of does it better. And I feel like that's worth comparing, because of course they're the two characters that do move speed buffs. And this was kind of like a selling point for her. Like, oh, it's another character that boosts move speed. Woohoo! But I just think Lucio does better. I just think he does. Not to say his ability's bad again. Still pretty solid, but again, we're talking about move speed. You're looking for move speed buffs. You're not going to pick Juno solely for the move speed buff, at least in my experience. And unfortunately for her, things aren't really going to get much better, because we have the orbital ray. This ult, when it came out, was really, really damn strong. This was basically if you combined Mercy's damage boost and Zenyatta's Transcendence into one. Just to show, of course, what it looks like, you press Q, a giant beam from Nowheresville will spray down, create a ring that kind of heals anyone in it, and as I mentioned, provides a damage boost. This damage boost is 30%, which I believe is lower than Mercy's? Where's Mercy's damage boost? I've never actually checked. Damage boost is... Oh, no, it is the exact same, 30%. Right, so it's the same. It is literally just a Mercy beam, as well as, at the time when it came out, a Transcendence. It does 85 healing per second, which is, you know, very solid, but just a point of reference, again, I like to show what I'm talking about when I am talking about it. Zenyatta's ultimate is 400 per second. 400. So it's like a mini Transcendence. Very much a mini. The emphasis on the word mini Transcendence, of course. But it was like a kind of a merger of the two. Transcendence with, you know, AoE healing that keeps people alive, as well as the damage amp. Pretty neat, right? A couple issues. First things first, is a beam that travels in the direction that you are looking for 8 seconds, and it only has a radius of 8 meters. 8 meters isn't a very big radius, and the fact that it kind of slowly travels forward in whatever direction you were looking does make it kind of hard to use. Like, you can't just pop this ult willy-nilly. You kind of have to have, like, I don't know, like a choke point that you can have the beam slowly move through with your team. But the thing is, if you're pushing, the beam moves so slow. Like, look how slow this thing moves, right? This beam moves so slow that it is very reasonable for your team to actually push forward outside of your ultimate's range. And this is only worsened by the fact that Juno has the speed boost. She has Hyper Ring. She can make people move faster and very often move out of the orbital ray's range and lose the healing and lose the damage amp. So that's bad enough, right? That you can actually counteract your own ultimate with one of your own abilities. But then its ult cost, her ult cost is insane. 2,900 is high. It's high. Just as a point of reference, say let's look at someone else. Junker Queen has a very strong ult, 2,700. Let's look at someone such as maybe another support. Who else has a very good ult? Zenyatta. Zenyatta's ult's very similar, just minus the damage boost, 2,500. Let's look at Kiriko, someone with one of the strongest ults in the game, 2,525. Let's look at someone who also does, you know, very good AoE healing and very good, AoE damage buff in her ult, Mercy, 2,000. Let's look at Wu Yang, recently released hero, does a lot of buffs on his ult, 2,800. She has the highest ult cost of any character on the support lineup. I think she has the highest ult cost of anyone in the game. What's Genji's ult cost? Not even actually that high. Okay, maybe I'm... Bob? How high is Bob? I 2,400. Is there anyone with a ult cost higher than Juno's actually? Does she have the highest ult cost in the game? Are we actually being serious? Who else feels like they have a high ult cost? I don't know. Zarya? Zarya's always felt like she had a high... 2,500. Oh my god. Juno's ult cost is actually the highest in the game. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay, yeah. I was going to complain about, like, oh, it takes ages to get the ult cost. Yeah, I know why now. 2,900. What? That's a very high ult cost, as we now know, and as I know now, the highest in the game. Is it worth it? No. Ult costs with like 400 less than this are 20 times better. Like, it looks really good on paper, right? Giant beam, you know, lots of healing, damage boost. Whoa. And it was really good on release because the ult cost was relatively normal. But now it's 2,900. Highest cost in the game, to my knowledge, unless someone proves me wrong, and then maybe I didn't check everyone, God forbid. But this ain't worth it. As I proved, she can accidentally make her ult ass by hyper-ringing people out of it. Like, if a team, like, this is a push tool, right? You should be using this as a tool to push forward. I wouldn't personally use it as a response to another ult. You can, and it is, you know, relatively effective in that scenario. But for me, I use it as like a push tool. Like, I deploy this, team pushes forward and fights, you know, in the area of effect. So they get the healing, they get the damage amp. Woohoo! Everyone wins. But Juno increases movement speed, which usually causes people to run out of the range. And then they don't get the healing, and then they don't get the damage boost. And it moves quite slowly and in a straight line. It cannot move, you know, in a different direction outside of the direction that you throw it in. So it kind of isn't good sometimes. Like, it does usually benefit itself by using as a responsive tool. Like, oh, they popped a ult, let me pop my ult in response. Like, you can use it like that, and it is good in that scenario, but it still runs into the same issue of you deploy it in response, and usually your team should use that opportunity to push forward. But again, if you push forward with the hyper ring, which, you know, incentivizes you to push forward, you can run out of the range. So you don't get the healing, you don't get the damage boost. And here's the thing, I've had games as Juno in, like, you know, like in capture point matches on like Lijiang Tower. I have had times where even though I'm playing well as Juno, I will actually just not get my ult at the end of before the end of the round. I have had times where I do not get my ult at the end of a round. No, it's not like the team is like sweeping, right? It's not like we went, they didn't even capture it once. Like, no, it was like, I think it was like 99 on our side to 70%. That's a good amount of time. Didn't get my ult. Just didn't. I was healing, I was doing damage, just didn't get my ult. The ult cost is too high. It's not that strong. It's really not that strong. I don't see why we are like petrified of it. Again, just as a point of reference, Zenyatta, similar ultimate outside of the damage boost thing. This is, you know, it's 400 cost less. Zenyatta can build up the cost quite quickly as well. Like, Juno's, that's the thing as well. Juno has the damage, obviously, ultimates build up off of, you know, your performance. The damage you deal, the damage you take, the healing you do. Juno's healing fall off and damage fall off. There's instances where she's just doing less damage and less healing. And outside of that, the only healing she does is the pulsar torpedoes. Like, I just don't... I just don't get it. I just really don't understand it. Like, I'm sorry, let's bring her up, Miss Poster Girl. Well, not my poster girl, but you get the idea. She does insane damage. She does really solid healing. She can do really solid healing through this. And then just look at that wall of text. You see that wall of text, all those buffs? You see the ult cost? 2,525? She gets her ult like twice a match. Juno barely even gets one. And Kiriko does 20 billion times more things than Juno ever wishes she could. I just don't understand it. Why is her ult cost this high? Anyways, Juno's kit right now, or Juno as a character right now, is not very good. She's susceptible to hit scans and divers, especially divers. And, well, hey guys, who's the strongest DPS in the game right now? In my opinion, it's Tracer. What is Tracer? A diver and a DPS that has a hit scan weapon. Tracer absolutely demolishes Juno every single time. It's petrifying. Juno cannot follow up on Tracer's movement, and Tracer does so much damage to Juno that she can't do anything. She can't. She really, really can't. Tracer is susceptible to the torpedoes, but yeah, by the time you actually get to lock on, she's probably already killed you. So Juno is susceptible to hit scans and divers. Hit scans are consistently one of the better characters in the game. Like, Ashe is just consistently really good. Soldier is consistently pretty solid. Cass is consistently pretty solid. Tracer right now is running the game like no one's ever seen it before. She's still really damn strong. So, like, the characters that Juno is weak to are really strong right now, and Juno herself is quite weak. Her ult does not do anything if you even actually manage to get it. She has healing fall off. Why? Her move speed bonus is fine. The move speed from the Hyper Ring is great. But why would you play Juno when you can play Lucio? Someone who has very solid healing output, great move speed bonus, which is consistently up as long as he has it on, and of course can be bumped up to even higher than Juno's. He's able to counter divers that may attempt to dive him with his sound wave. He does very good damage for his sonic amplifier. He has a great ultimate to counter, team pushes or enemy ults. And he's very good at diving people as well. Like, he does really respectable damage. Like, why would you really play Juno right now when Lucio is just better? The only thing that Juno probably has on Lucio is healing output. But I'm sorry, I would take better utility over raw healing. I just personally, in my personal experience, like, I will 99 times out of 10 prefer to see an Ana on my team than an Irari, because Irari can just do healing, but Ana can also do really good healing, but also has her sleep dart, also has biotic grenade, which is one of the strongest abilities in the entire game, also has nano boost. Like, I would prefer more utility over raw healing, just in my personal experience. That's why Kiriko is consistently like one of those healers that I do like to see on my team, despite my many qualms with her, because she is good. She does good damage. That is a form of utility for a support. She does good healing. She has Suzu, which is one of the strongest abilities in the game. She has one of the best ultimates in the game. Like, I don't mind. Like, if I see a Juno on my team, I usually kind of like sigh a little, because I just know things might not go well this time. But then again, she kind of falls in... She's not the worst support right now, though. For all of those Juno fans out there who are... I'm very sorry I've been ragging on your goat, but you can find solace in the fact that she's not the worst support out there. Zen is. Zen is the worst right now. Zen really sucks. Because as I said, who's one of the best DPSs in the game right now? Tracer. He's one of the best tanks in the game right now. Hammond. Who does he get absolutely obliterated by? Divers. Who are these two? Divers! Wow! Funny enough, Hammond's also hit scan, so he does actually counter Juno, funny enough. But yeah, Juno's in a bad spot right now. Do wish she was better, because I do quite enjoy her kit. When she first came out, I mean... do you want more proof, really? Like, I'm sorry, like, when she came out, I played the shit out of her in her trial, and she just flew up the thingy rankings. Like, it's kind of absurd how... Hold on, is Mei my most played hero now? Oh, that's really bad. I need to change that. Sorry, just noticed that. I just noticed this section here. I just got petrified. But yeah, I played Juno a lot. I like her kit. She is also in Stadium. Should have mentioned that. I am not going to cover her Stadium kit, obviously. This video would be twice as long if I did. But yeah, Juno's in a bad spot right now. I mean, even in Stadium, she's just not the pick most of the time. So yeah, I do hope that she gets some buffs or some changes or something. I do kind of feel like at this point her ult might need a rework. It just has too many issues that it runs into just off a fundamental level. It's not even a stats related thing. It's just too often that people just run out of it because, her kit does incentivize kind of running in with Hyper Ring. So yeah, I don't know. I think she might need a rework to her ult of some kind. Seen some people throw around the idea that it's like attached to her, but then she's just Zen and Mercy wrapped up into a bundle, and it's just that's not interesting. It just isn't. I'll give them props that at least the Ray is kind of interesting. You do have to think about where you're using it and how you're using it, but still, you get my points. You understand what I'm trying to say. Juno's in a bad spot right now. I wish she was in a good spot, and otherwise, I do enjoy her kit. I do enjoy playing as her. She's not very good. But with all of that said, I'd like to now move on to talking about her game. No, not her gameplay. We just talked about that for the last half an hour. Her design and her cosmetics. Now, when it comes to Juno's base design, I am relatively fond of it. I mean, okay, let's get this out of the way immediately. I think her concept design was a little bit more interesting. I'll throw it up on screen right now. I know the concept looks damn near identical to how she looks in-game right now. It basically is. But there's two key factors that make me like the concept design more. That's mostly due to the fact that the torpedoes she has are attached to the suit. They had those little arms that come out. And her gun was like a, like a little SMG. And funny enough, to this day, Overwatch still doesn't really have like a two-handed SMG weapon. Which, just as a point of proving, let's look at this entire cast. The only character in the game with an SMG, I think, unless I'm mistaken, is Sombra. I think. The only character. This is a one-handed SMG. That's the only weapon or the only SMG in the game. Unless I'm stupid. I mean, do you want to count Bastion's weapons as an SMG? Do we? Yeah, I think we're stretching the point there. But either way, I do wish we still had that SMG weapon. I think it looks more interesting. But that's not to say like the Meta Blaster isn't cool. I kind of like the idea. It's meant to look like a syringe gun almost. Like this kind of looks like a syringe in a sense. It's a neat little gun. I like the look of it. It's cute. Kind of reminds me of a, like a laser pistol or a laser blaster. That is obviously the idea behind it. The way she reloads it is quite neat with the little gravitational pull for the magazine coming in. And the torpedoes, the torpedoes look the exact same, but I do wish they had the arms. I think the arms look a bit cooler than just them floating next to her. But speaking of her actual design, it's fine. It's decent enough. It's a skin-tight space bodysuit with, cool orange jacket. And I will admit, I'm a sucker for huge shoes. Like, the old age-old saying of, like, what's cooler, big jacket or big shoes? I remember seeing, like, an art trend of that on Twitter. I was always kind of like, both. I like both. The big shoes stuff is cool, though. Kind of reminds me of, like, Jet Set Radio. Kind of that look with the, comically large shoes or comically large, like, roller skates, stuff like, it's not roller skates, it was like skates, just full stop. Either way, I like the big moon boots. I think they look cool. And I like that, when you're walking around, you can hear them like going, woo, woo, woo. Like there's a sound effect when she's like kind of hovering. I think that's neat. And the color scheme of her is quite decent. I like the kind of teal. Will you call this teal? Blue, teal-y color and the orange. That's a decent kind of color spectrum. White, orange, and teal. And I mentioned this earlier. Purple hair for some reason. It's not genetically possible. She was born with this shit. I thought she dyed it for the longest time. I had no idea she was actually born with it. It's completely impossible. And I don't actually know why they chose the purple hair. I actually think it hurts her character design. I don't like the purple hair at all. Like, it makes her stand out, and she's got like, like a crescent moon thing with the pink highlights, but like, was she born with the pink highlights too? Because that makes it even more confusing. Like, her parents had brown and black hair. I don't know which one had which, but they had brown and black hair. How did she get purple hair with pink highlights? What? It just feels like they did that solely for, aesthetic reasons, which is really boring. I hate when they do like colorful hair just for aesthetic reasons. Like, But like, if the character dyed it, that's fine. But she was born with it? Like, huh? Like, for the longest time, I always thought Hazard should have had, like, colourful hair, and him dyeing it would have made complete sense. It's Hazard we're talking about. Like, who else has colourful hair? Like, Sombra's. Sombra's isn't naturally purple. We know this. Her Talon skin is a look into what she, is kind of one of those, like, lore-related skins of what she used to look like when she started off working for Talon. This is quite clearly dyed hair. She dyes her hair quite a lot. I mean, obviously purple is the go-to for, most of her skins, because, that's the hair she had in her base design. But you can quite clearly see that it's dyed. She has brown hair otherwise. Not Juno, though. Juno has purple hair. Born with it. It's just confusing. She got a cute little backpack with the, I think those are the torpedoes. What? No, the torpedoes come out of the actual back of it. These are like the thrusters, which have, decent design on them. And the big space helmet is quite neat. The big old bubble that has like, I think she like presses a button on the side and the bubble goes away. Yeah, it's a fine enough design. I don't really have too many qualms with it. Kind of fits the space Martian look they were going for with her. It's decent. Works. It exists. I don't think it's like, outstanding, but it's decent. Fits the spacey look. I like it. And it has obviously some resemblance to, say, Winston's design with his, kind of spacey outfit on with his like jetpack boosters. It's neat. I like it. Now, You know exactly what I'm going to start saying, aren't you? I'm sure you already know where I'm going with all of this. I know you can probably see it on the left-hand side that I bought 2 of the collab skins, but let's complain. Juno, for some reason or another, has seemingly become a personal favourite of the development team in some way, shape or form, or at least the cosmetics team, at least. Because Juno, since her release, has received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 legendaries, and a mythic. Now, Juno came out in Season 12. Venture came out in Season 10. Since their release, they have gotten 1, 2, 3 skins. They had to wait till Season 14. They came out in Season 10. They had to wait till Season 14, which is like 8 months, for their first ever legendary. That being Toph, which, by the way, collab skin. It's never going to come back unless they suddenly return it. I know they have actually returned a few collabs, One Punch Man being the most recent one, so this could come back, right? But this is still a limited time thing. We're in Season 19 right now. It's been 5 seasons since this came out. Still not come back. So for the meantime, it hasn't returned. And again, their first ever legendary skin was a limited time thing. And if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. They did eventually get a Battle Pass legendary, which is great. And I believe last season they got this, which, you know, fine. Awesome. Glad they're getting skins. But the fact that in 9 seasons, Venture has received 3 legendaries, and Juno, a character that released 2 seasons after, has received 10 and a mythic, is absurd. Am I part of the problem? Of course I am. I bought the Uravity skin when it came out. I like My Hero Academia. I'm not the hugest fan of it, but this skin is like perfect. Like it was, okay, some people threw around the accusation that, you know, Juno was designed with this skin in mind, and honestly, I believe it. I actually can kind of believe it. Collaborations and stuff are usually worked on like 9 months in advance. We saw Juno for the first time at BlizzCon 2023, so she eventually released like many months down the road, right? We knew who Venture was. We knew Venture by name, and Venture's design was basically finalized. Juno's was obviously still a work in progress because, as you showed earlier, with the SMG and the arms for the torpedoes. So I don't think it's out of the question that she was actually designed with this skin in mind, because they do work with collaborators many months in advance, and the collaborators are usually the ones who pick who these skins go to, and that's usually who I point my anger at when they pick stupid choices, right? So this skin is tailor-made for Juno, really. It is really tailor-made for her, just on every design front. The big shoes, the metagun, the helmet, like all of it is like perfect for her. And I bought it because I really like the skin, and, you know, I like my hero enough to, you know, want this. This, on the other hand, is a criminal offense. She did not deserve this. I don't care. I don't care that she kicks for her melee. She did not deserve this. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to go on a tangent too quickly. I'll discuss this closer to the end. It's a personal thing. We'll discuss the cosmetics consistently, right? But I'll get into why I really don't like it in a moment. Either way, she's gotten a lot of skins. 10 since Season 12. And Venture, someone who released before them, or before Juno, has only got 3. And Hazard, someone who released 2 seasons afterwards, still only has 2 legendaries. I think it is absurd. I think Overwatch has a very, very bad skin distribution problem. I wouldn't mind if these characters, you know, the moneymakers like Juno, Kiriko, and we can only presume these characters are the moneymakers because they just consistently get this many skins, right? I would prefer if these characters got 1 legendary. It'd be way less bad if these characters only got 1 legendary, like per season. But the fact that they get consistently 2 per season, or 3 in some cases for Kiriko, I think is absurd. I really do think that's absurd. Last season, Juno got the Forget Me Not skin and Music Festival. These are both fully fledged legendary skins. Music Festival has special effects, like on the shoes and the headpiece. The Forget Me Not doesn't have anything, actually. Okay. I thought it did have something. My bad. Either way, she got 2 fully fledged legendaries, like full detailed ones, not recolor, not, rehash of an old skin. She got 2 fully fledged ones. I think that's absurd. Get rid of the music festival, give it to someone else. Like, just take her out of one of these bundles and give what this... So, this is a perfect example, actually, music festival. Take her out of music festival and give it to Lucio. Please. Please, bro. It's the music festival skin. Like, you're not going to give it to the dude whose whole thing is music? What? She was already getting a legendary. They were already going to be satisfied. They love getting a skin. And I've seen many Juno mains online complaining that there are too many skin choices. Oh, woe is me. My lobster is too buttery. My steak is too juicy. Imagine being a fan of a character that just doesn't get anything. When was the last time Ramattra got a legendary before this one? Like a Overwatch original one. Oh yeah, it was this shit. It was this. This is awful. This came out in season, what, 8? No, 7. Season 7. This came out this season. We had to wait 12 seasons for him to get like a new original legendary. Yeah, he got 2 collab skins in that meantime. This was season 12 and this was season 16. That's nice and all, but it's just absurd. It's really absurd. She had one of the quickest release to mythic skin changes ever. Like if we go to the mythic shop, right? Go to the mythic, right? So the quickest, of course, is going to be these 2, right? Because obviously Overwatch 1 came out, and then immediately Junker Queen got Zeus, and Kiriko got Amaterasu. That's bad, really. I didn't like these 2 getting their mythics this quickly. I liked it even less, and I will discuss this further in depth when we get to talking about how Sojourn was treated. Look, I'm gonna say this now, right? No, let's get to the point I'm trying to make. So these 2 obviously came out. These are the quickest release to mythic, gaps. But Juno came out in season 12, which was Reaper's mythic, and then proceeded to get her mythic in season 16. That's 4 seasons, and she got a mythic before, like most of the legacy cast, most of the lot from Overwatch 1. I think that's really absurd. I think it's even more absurd that someone who released in season 12 got her mythic before a character that came out with the game. Sojourn had to wait 18 seasons to get her mythic. I think that is absurd. And now I'm going to get to a point, some of you may not like to hear it, but I do think Overwatch has a bit of a racism problem when it comes to their skin distribution. They'll give out crumbs now and then, but they consistently have shown that characters with darker skin colors, characters that are not, characters with darker skin colors don't get skins. Again, best example, Venture, someone who is a POC. I believe they are Mexican, I think, maybe. I think they're, because they speak Spanish, right? I know that's, I don't want to presume anything. I believe they're Mexican. I think they're Canadian Mexican. Well, clearly, tan skin, a POC. They have 3 skins to their name, 3 legendaries. Now, if we go to Juno, Asian woman, I think she's Vietnamese, if I remember rightly. Pale skin. All of this. This quickly. Absurd. Disgusting, even. I think it's absolutely absurd. Now, if we check Sojourn really quick. She's been out since the game came out, right? She's been in Overwatch 2 since day uno. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Juno is 3 skins behind Sojourn. A character that has been in this game since season 1. I think that's really scary, actually. In the time that Juno has been out, she has more skins than Baptiste, to my knowledge. I remember seeing a tweet. Maybe not. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hold on. Where did I see the thing? I don't remember what it was. I swear it was it's something to do with Baptiste. I might be wrong. I might be going off on tangent here. Either way, you get the point that I'm trying to make. It's just very interesting that, these no, I remember what the point was. It was the amount of skins that Baptiste had gotten since Overwatch 2's release compared to how many Juno had gotten. 1, 2, 3 legendaries I'm talking about here. 4 legendaries in Overwatch 2's lifespan, and she's gotten 10. And obviously Baptiste has been in Overwatch 2 since day 1, because every other Overwatch 1 character was. I just don't like her skins are distributed. I'm fine if Juno and Kiriko need to get a skin every season because they need to make the money. I understand that. This is a business. Overwatch is a business. They need to run it. I understand that. But maybe now and then we take a skin away from someone like Juno, who already now has a very long list of skins, you know, something like Music Festival. Take this away from her and give it to Lucio. Give it to a character that doesn't get skins very often. Give it to someone else. Like, I'm sorry, last season, right? How many did Kiriko get? Like, what, she got this, and Demon, Hydrina, and I swear there was a third one. I might be tripping. I might actually own it. Do I? Yeah, Streetwear. She got Streetwear last season. So she got 3 legendaries last season. One of them, admittedly, is, of course, a recolor. But still, you could have taken, say, this recolor and given it someone else. Or taken, I don't know, her spot in the battle pass and given it to someone else. I just don't... It's not hard. She still would have gotten 2 skins that season. You take away a skin from Juno, she still would have, you know, gotten a skin. Like, it's not like... I don't want to propose a 1 skin rule, but I feel like that would improve the game immensely and make a lot more people happy. Like, look how happy some people were when they saw that Baptiste was getting, you know, the Archangel skin. Like, it's a lovely looking skin. I'm very happy he finally got something since his last skin being in season 12, which ironically, I think this was season 12. I actually don't remember what season this was, but either way, like, just skin distribution is very, very muddled in this game, and Juno is a very bad example of it. She came out and immediately, a season after her release, received Uravity, and then immediately afterwards, I believe she received Ember in season 14, and she also received Celestial in season 14, and then in season 15, she received the Fearless Seraphim collab skin, and then immediately after that, she received Chun-Li and her own Mythic, and immediately after that, she got the freshman skins, and then season 18 rolls around, she gets 2 more legendaries. It's just like, seriously, man, make it a bit less obvious. I mean, somehow this season she didn't really get anything. She's getting a recolor of Ember this season, and that's it. Shocked, really am shocked. And for some reason, she's on the main menu? Why? I know she was the narrator in the trailer for the Halloween mode, but she's not even the narrator in the game mode. Why is she here? Why is she on the front cover? She's already technically here through May wearing her mask. I don't understand why she needs to be on the front cover. Why is she being promoted as if she was some brand new spanking hero? Like, I'm sorry, you could have replaced her and included some of the other Halloween skins in the Battle Pass. You know, Reinhardt's on the front cover. Why is Oni Cass not on the front cover? Why is Vampire Moira not on the front cover? They love Wu Yang. Why is he not on the front cover? Like, Wu Yang is an even bigger example of their kind of skin distribution problem. I will discuss it in his video. I'm not going to get too off tangent. But anyways, with all of that said, this is the end of the video for normal people. I hope I'm done. I mean, actually, whilst we're still, you know, no, actually, I just complained about how her skins were distributed. I will give them props. A lot of her skins are good. Her Mythic is fine. It's okay. I'm not very big on it. It's all right. I do own it. I like it enough that I wanted to have it. But admittedly, all the time, I'm just using Chun-Li. I'm going to be completely honest with you. A lot of her skins are good. That's the issue. Like, she gets a lot of them, but they are good. They are pretty decent. They don't really do much with the Space Woman aspect of her, which I think is a huge missed opportunity. Celestial did. I like that Celestial had the bubble, but every other one of her skins just gets rid of it. Like, Uravity kind of keeps it, but not really. Like, every other one of her skins just gets rid of the helmet, and that really sucks, because that's, like, the only spacey part of her. Outside of the boots, right? So I don't know. I just don't like they remove it like every time. Their skins are good looking. It's fine. I understand why they are good looking. That's kind of annoying. But anyways, this will be the end of the video for normal people. If you want to stick around for me to complain about the Street Fighter 6 skin for, I don't know, another 5 minutes, you can if you wish. But anyways, this is the end of the video for normal people who don't want to hear me ramble and rant about that sort of stuff. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether that be a good morning, afternoon, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And the next video in the series will be on, of course, their golden goose, Kiriko. But for those that wish to stick around for me to talk about the Street Fighter 6 skin, how much I hate it, here we go. So, the collab was Street Fighter 6. Note, Street Fighter 6. The number 6, right? This isn't Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li, first things first. That's annoying. I don't like that they called it the Street Fighter 6 collab, but then the only characters that actually had their Street Fighter 6 designs were Blanca and Soldier 76 Guile, right? Those are the only ones that actually had... Where is Guile? There he is. This is the only other skin that had the Street Fighter 6 design. Even then, this skin is awful. This is not a legendary. This is his base design from Overwatch 2, like same jacket and shit, with some slight changes like the arms being up. Like, this is a very bad skin. I mean, it even has the same weapon design as his base Overwatch 2 model, right? Not a great skin. It's probably the worst of the lot. But, I mean, another example, like, those two are the only... Oh, and, of course, Juri Kiriko, wherever that is. Juri? Yeah. Juri has a Street Fighter 6 design with some, you know, slight changes. So first things first, it's not even Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li, right? The only reason that this got given to Juno is because she kicks in her melee. Woo! Okay? All that Juri ever does is kick. All that Juri does is kick. You see Kiriko doing kicks in her melee? No, you don't. Why'd they give that to her then? Do you guys know? Why'd they give that to her? I don't... The people's only defense for Juno being Chun-Li is that she's a young Asian woman and that she kicked in her melee. The kick in the melee thing does not hold up because Juri got given a Kiriko who doesn't kick in any of her melees. And this doesn't even fit her. Chun-Li is in Street Fighter 6, which is the game that they were promoting. Street Fighter 6 collab. But first of all, not her Street Fighter 6 design. I know why. Street Fighter 2 design is way more iconic. I understand that. But again, this Street Fighter 6. In Street Fighter 6, Chun-Li is aged somewhat. She's middle-aged. She's far more refined, far more, like, she's taken on the role of a teacher. She's taken a backseat to fighting. And I'm going to be completely real with you. Take the Street Fighter 6 design and give it to Mei. It's not hard. It really isn't. Mei is a Chinese woman, so she matches the ethnicity of, you know, Chun-Li. And Chun-Li Mei was just, when they announced, oh, we're doing a Street Fighter 6 collab, or when it got leaked, I was like, oh my god, Chun-Li Mei, that's going to be awesome. No, gave it to Juno. I think Mei fits Chun-Li better aesthetically. I think it would be nice to have her in Chun-Li's fit, whether that be the Street Fighter 6 one or the Street Fighter 2 one. I personally would have preferred the Street Fighter 6 one because I think that fits Mei's kind of look a lot nicer. So that would have been, you know, great. I would have loved that. But no, we give it to Kiriko. No, Kiriko, I meant Juno. They give it to Juno, and it doesn't even fit her. It doesn't fit who Chun-Li is. Like, Chun-Li would never be a support. And the worst part is, when they posted the Street Fighter 6, like, you know, they have, like, the splash arts that they do for all of the collabs. Why was Chun-Li front and center? I'm sorry, I understand. You know, Chun-Li is incredibly important. If there's anyone who deserves to be on the cover of any of the Street Fighter games, it's her and Ryu. Like, conjoined. They have a conjoined kind of shared spot for that. But first of all, again, Street Fighter 6. Luke is the front cover of Street Fighter 6 right now. Luke is the new poster boy. I like Luke a lot. I think we should have gotten Luke Hazard. I really think that was a stupidly, unbelievably dumb missed opportunity. But the fact that Chun-Li Juno was just front and center and Ryu was like a small icon is absurd. Ryu should have been front and center and Chun-Li should have been the second biggest one, rivaling him for front and center. And everyone else should have just been like the tertiary characters surrounding them. I don't understand why Chun-Li was front and center. I understand that she's incredibly important. I really do. I know this. I play Street Fighter. I understand my Street Fighter, right? But Chun-Li being front and center and having Ryu be tiny, that feels wrong. But here's the fun fact. Do you know why Chun-Li was front and center? Because it was Juno. Because it was Juno being Chun-Li. And they love Juno. They want to promote Juno as much as they can. I saw a thing where it was Xbox celebrating Blizzard's, you know, anniversary. And it was Juno as the rep for Overwatch. Excuse you? Do not erase my favorite lesbian Tracer from your image. Get Juno out my face. She will never be Tracer. Ever. At all. I don't know what their obsession is with pushing her this badly. I just don't get it. The Street Fighter 6 collab pisses me off still. I really liked Juri Kiriko. I know it didn't really fit her, but I think I didn't really know who else it would have gone to. Sombra? I don't know. There's no one in this game that really fits Juri personality-wise or fighting style-wise. Funny enough, I actually would argue that Juri would have been a better pick for Juno than Kiri, but they couldn't do that because of the limitations of her boots. So she got Chun-Li instead, which still, to this day, doesn't make any sense to me. It should have gone to Mei. It would have made more sense, fits more, and especially considering this was meant to be a promotion for Street Fighter 6, it would have made more sense to go to Mei, the more calm, refined fighter, right? Am I wrong for saying this? Am I stupid? Am I crazy? Like, most of the other character selections made sense. Guile, Soldier 76, perfect. Blanca as Winston, even better. I actually think that might have been one of the best choices. Sigma as M. Bison, perfect. Hanzo as Ryu, would not have picked anyone else. Who else is there? Widow as Cammy, terrible choice actually, should have gone to Tracer. I feel like Tracer as Cammy makes way more sense, just off the sole fact that Cammy's British, and more importantly, Cammy is a fast, efficient fighter. And I would have preferred, Street Fighter 6 design Cammy on Tracer with the British flag on the back. That would have made way more sense than whatever the hell this is. Like, this is just terrible. Why did I buy the full bundle? I love Street Fighter. What did you think it was going to be? But it's crazy. It's just a bad decisions all around. Oh yeah, Dawson Zenyatta, perfect. No better option really. But it's just the Street Fighter 6 collab actually ruined me. I just stared at it. I was like, that was like the moment where I just got sick and tired of Juno. I really am sick and tired of seeing her. I was kind of like, when I opened up season 19, I just saw her there on the front cover with no reason to be there. I was just so bored, so sick and tired. Like, I get you gotta make your money, but just stop pushing her this badly. I just don't like her anymore. Like, I liked her initially. That's the annoying thing. I liked her initially when she first came out. And then it kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. Okay. Just a little spoiler for those that stick around, a little teaser. Tomorrow's video on Kiriko is going to be titled a character that a character I grew to hate. Because when she came out, I wasn't actually that upset with her. I actually kind of liked her. Admittedly, that was before I read her lore, and then before they decided to shove her down our throats with literally a multi-page essay worth of skin lists. She's got more skins than most of the characters from Overwatch 1. It's absurd. So it's kind of the same thing. I initially liked Kiriko, and then they kind of just pushed her and pushed her and pushed her, and I got bored of her, and I'm just like, can you get out of my face? Juno, again, initially I liked her, and then they pushed her, and then they pushed her, and then I realized how flawed her story was when you consider her personality and how it works in the grand scheme of things. It's just, I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired. And it sucks because the two characters that released before and after her were just more interesting and had more fun shit, and they just get neglected. Venture has been obscenely neglected for some reason or another, and Hazard as well has just been obscenely neglected. I've got my qualms with Hazard, mostly on a design front, but otherwise I think he's an absolutely fantastic standout of a character. But then again, I don't want to sound sexist, but then Freya came out and I was just so bored. Freya was immediately boring to me. I did not like her to begin with. I don't want to. I'm not being sexist. I don't dislike Freya because she was a woman. If Freya was a man, I would hate her all the same, or hate him all the same in that scenario. But it's just and now Wu Yang's come out, and I initially really, really liked him. I really liked his gameplay. I think he was fantastic. And now I'm already tired of him because they've already just pushed him. Look, 4 legendaries. He's got more legendaries than Venture in under 2 months. He's not even been out for 2 months. Maybe he has now, but still, it's absurd. I just don't. Skin distribution. I'll go over it all over again in Kiriko's video. Don't you worry. But yeah, anyways, this is the actual end of the video. For those that stuck around to hear my rant, I do thank you, and I hope you have, again, a lovely rest of your day, whether it be good morning, afternoon, etc. And the next video will be on, of course, Golden Goose of this game, the poster child that they're trying to push really badly, but she'll never replace Tracer, Kiriko.